Hi guys, my name is Girish, your host for today for Back to Basics Season 3. Today we're going to speak with Marc Paisant, and he's all about health and fitness and mindset. He's a great person. He will tell you how and why you should lose weight, how you should be healthy, and that's what we all are trying to do. But he does it in his own way, in his own style. So let's go and speak with him to get to know him better. And let's talk to Marc on Back to Basics. I'll see you there.
Hi, my name is Marc Paisant. Thank you, Back to Business, for inviting me over. Don't forget to subscribe and keep on listening. And remember, everything in life is going back to basics.
Hey folks, thank you again for coming to Back to Basics. You know, we're speaking with our guest Marc. I've already introduced him before, and you already know what he is all about. But today, I'm going to tell you one thing, that we chit-chatted right before the recording, and we understood that we're both on the same page when it comes to wellness, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to health, when it comes to, I guess, making mistakes. So we'll get into that topic also very, very briefly. But why don't we just chit chat, stop talking to me, and let's go and speak with Marc to get to know him better and who he is and what is he all about. Marc, thank you again for coming to Back to Basics.
Thank you for having me. The pleasure is all mine, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, Marc, thank you again for coming here. Definitely very, very honored for you to be here. But before we get into the basics of who you are and what you are all about and what we're going to talk about today, what does Back to Basic mean to you?
Well, I know that it is a cliche term that a lot of people throw out, but to me, I think it's one that we need to really use more often, because it's just taking this crazy world we live in and just simplifying the things we need to do, getting back to relationships and helping people, and just slowing down, and sometimes just enjoying what we have in front of us instead of complicating everything. And that's what it means to me.
Yeah, Marc, thank you again. And I know that I keep on asking this question to all my guests for the last 400 episodes, but it seems like we do need to ask these questions because sometimes we tend to forget that what we're here for, or maybe we don't even know what we're looking for. And thank you again for answering that question.
I agree, and I think that I've yet to meet a mind reader, and I don't think I ever will. And sometimes, like, we need to just make sure that we understand where people are coming from, how they're feeling in that situation, and just simplify things for. I'm a pragmatic thinker, and I'm a very simple person, and but even I need to get back to basics. I really do some of the time.
Yeah, Marc, thank you again, and thank you for supporting me on the small podcast that I have. You know, let me ask you this here: combining physical health and mental health, how can we do that? I mean, is that easy to say that we're here to set up our mindset for the physical, or do we set up the physical for the mindset? I mean, does that make sense?
It does make sense, and to answer that first part of the question, it's something easy for us to say we want to do, but it's difficult if it's something that we're not intentional about. And what I mean by that is take me for example. For a lot of my adult life, I was very intentional about my mental health. I was very intentional about mindfulness exercises and meditation and going to therapy and making sure I was in the right headspace. But I didn't take care of my physical body, and then it flipped on me, and I became a runner, and I said, "Oh, you know what? Running's gonna cure everything for me." And I lost, weight, got healthy, and I had a conversation with my therapist, and like, why do I still feel this way? Why am I still going through some episodes? And what he explained to me is that you have to be intentional. You can't silo them. And when you're intentional about, when I go to the gym, when I go for a run, I'm making sure I shut down the rest of the world. I'm making sure I'm using this for my health. This is my time. A lot of people go to the gym and they rush through it. I need to get through this because I got to get back to a meeting, or I got to get my kids here. I got to make kids there. Or we'll go through meditation, and throughout meditation, we're thinking, okay, let me get this 5 minutes in, 20 minutes in, then I got to I'm wasting time.
Hmm.
But once, and this was hard for me, this is the last 2 years of my life where I've decided that this is my time. When I sit down and when I decide to write, journal, this is not wasted time. This is my time. And when I go to the gym, I'm not taking time out of my day to do this. This is in my day. So
Hmm.
it's a paradigm shift, but it's easy to say we want to do it, but without intent, we're not going to be successful.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you again for that. And I guess from the physical part, do you think that was also needed too, or do you think your, I don't know, your mind exercise needed to be more focused versus the physical?
For me, so I'm a former collegiate athlete, and played soccer and basketball throughout my younger years, and soccer in college, and I always had someone telling me w- to stay in shape, to go to practice, putting together meal plans. I always had that. And when that stopped, I hate to say it, but I'll be honest with you. I had no idea what to do with my physical health. I had no idea. Someone had always done it for me. And that part was the hardest for me, because physical fitness doesn't just involve running or going to the gym or Pilates or yoga. It has a lot to do with what we're putting in our body. It has a
Hmm.
lot to do with our nutrition. And I would go through bouts of going to the gym for 6 months and thinking, why am I not getting in shape or losing weight? I was eating the same food I was eating before.
Hmm.
And that's the biggest, like, once you understand that food is fuel, like, that's the biggest thing. Like, you need to, your macronutrients, your carbs, your proteins, your fats, all those are important. And stay away from a lot of the sugars. But, once you understand that nutrition part, that was the hardest. Like, if I'm being honest with you, like, I feel like I can get in the mental headspace I need to with all the practice and experience I've had.
Hmm.
But physically, I really had to work hard, especially with the nutrition.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you again for. So let's go back in time if you don't mind,
Mhm.
right? And let me ask you this: where was your biggest struggle? Was it the focus of the mind, or losing weight, or being a friend for yourself?
I well, I I think you hit the nail on the head in that last one, and this is still something that is difficult for me. And what I mean by being a friend to myself is positive self talk, making sure I choose my words correctly, and not beating myself up for little mistakes. You and I were just talking about making mistakes and moving on. I wasn't able to do that. Every mistake I made, whether it be, forgetting my keys in the car, or forgetting to pay a bill, or being late to work, whatever, if it was minor, if it was major, I would respond the same way to myself, that I was the worst human on earth. No one loved me. How can I even stand myself? It was terrible. It was really bad. And one of my friends would do the same thing. And I would be the most empathetic, nicest, caring listener in the world.
Hmm.
And it had to be explained to me that there's no way you can truly be a good friend to others or understand what others are going through if you can't do the same for yourself. And that's something I still work on today. I'll catch myself really quickly calling myself an idiot. And it's like, wait, just hold on. Even though if it's tongue in cheek, like, I'll still kind of bring myself back. And yeah, that was one of the hardest things, and for me to get through. And it's still something I work on constantly.
I think it went frozen for a second
There we
there.
go. Yep, we're good now.
Okay. So what was the last thing that you mentioned?
As I mentioned, that it's still something I'm continuing to work on, is being a friend to myself. I've been working on it for the longest time, and I still work on it to this day.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you again for understanding that. So When it comes to, I think besides the physical
Mhm,
aspect of it, I think the mental health is one thing that you focus truly on. Is
mhm.
that correct?
Yeah, that's something I've been focusing on for a while. Kind of trying to speak out and end the stigma and just make it easier for people to talk about how their feelings and emotions and just open up.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you again for that. Mark, let me ask you this question here. Um, what is your morning routine, evening and afternoon routine when it comes to mental health?
So,
To stay focused, basically.
yes, I'll say this, and I do have an 8 to 5 job that I work, and I say 8 to 5 in air quotes because it could be 8 to 11, and then 2 to 5, and then I break up my day because I know I'm no good in 8 hour stretches.
Mm,
Because I want to be, to answer your question, everything I do from the time I wake up to the time I go to sleep, I try to set myself up mentally for success. And what I have learned, I understand my triggers. And what's even better is that my wife understands my triggers too. So she'll kind of hold me accountable too. Um, but I try to work out first thing in the morning, every morning if I can.
mm,
And why I do that is because it gets the blood flowing, it gets me in a good mood, it gets me in a great headspace. And then I get back home, and some mornings I'm able to walk my kids to the bus stop. Other mornings I leave right when they're going to the bus stop. But I don't just jump into my day. What I do is I kind of plan out where I want my day to go. I'm very, like I mentioned, I'm very pragmatic. I like things in little organizational boxes. I like to know I'm going to work between these hours. I'm going to record a podcast between these hours. I'm going to do some, laundry or fold clothes or do the dishes in this. And I try to really space out my day. And now that soccer season has started, every Tuesday and Thursday, I'll be doing that in the afternoons or early evenings. And then, and this might sound weird to some people, but at the end of the day, I really need to make sure that I have done my duty around the house in regard to cleaning up something. So
mm.
I like to do the dishes and make sure that the kitchen is clean. I like to do a load of laundry. And I'm going to tell you right now, like taking that load of laundry, and I never thought mental health and laundry would go together, but taking that load of laundry that is disorganized, discombobulated, and then folding everything up and making it look neat in that hamper, like that makes my brain happy. And
Mm.
I do that probably 3 to 4 nights a week. And my wife thinks I do laundry too much, and I'm like, I don't know anybody who's ever said that to a wife has ever said that to a husband before, but
But Mark, I'll tell you one thing, and sorry to interrupt you,
yeah,
but have you heard of a comment called that if your car is dirty, then your mind is dirty?
I have, yes, I
So I
have.
think it's the same. So I think it's the same concept for your laundry, isn't it?
Mhm. It really is, and talking to you right now, I know there's a load that needs to be folded upstairs, and it's going to get folded. And but here's the thing, and whether it's laundry, dishes, cleaning a closet, whatever it is, I think people need to understand that there's so many different ways to just make your brain happy and make your mind happy.
Mm,
And whether, like for me, when I record an episode of my podcast, like I tell people all the time, like, yes, I want to bring guests on, and yes, I want to hear their story, but it's a release for me too to be on this mic and with the camera and talking to somebody who wants to make the world a better place. Like it just like with all the decisive stuff, we can go to this news channel, that news channel, and everyone's going at each other. And again, when we talked about getting back to basics, like let's just have a conversation. And there's been plenty of people I've conversed with that I might not agree with,
mm,
but that doesn't make them less human. That doesn't make their feelings less valid.
right.
Let's just go back to just the old school way of just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you again for saying that, because I think sometimes you just do need to de-stress yourself and just
Mhm.
let it out the way it is, and I guess de-stress. I think that's the
Yep.
main purpose of this whole topic here. So thank you again for that. Mark, we talked very, very briefly right before the recording, and there's a new segment that we have started on Back to Basics for season 3, which is a rapid fire round. In this rapid fire, I'll be saying some few words, some few sentences, or whatever pops in your head, and we'll chit chat about it, or maybe some few words will come out of there, or maybe a very, very, very small story out of that. How about that?
I am I am scared, anxious, and excited at the same time. So let's do it.
Okay. Thank you so much for being a sport, actually.
Mhm.
So, the first comment is going to be mental health.
We as a society, we need to do better in allowing people to express their emotions, their feelings, and just in the stigma around mental health. Especially it's two men talking right now. Men, if you're listening to us, it's okay to have emotions. Please open up. The suicide rate amongst men is higher than any other gender. Please open up.
Hmm. Yeah. Meditation.
Yeah. This one gives me pause because I'm not really good at meditation.
Hmm.
And I know people are like, how can you not be good at meditation? My brain goes a mile a minute.
Hmm.
But if you're like me and you struggle with meditation, um, make sure whatever meditation you use, you listen direct, you focus on the words. Whoever is talking, whoever is the person moderating it, fo- turn the words into visual words in your head, and that
Hmm.
will help you out a lot.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Mhm.
Headspace.
He- Ooh, this is we know when I think about this one, all I think about is this might be good. Might is positive headspace. I use that term with myself, I really like that word. I like how it sounds when you said it. Like headspace makes me feel good. Like I'm in a good headspace.
Hmm.
Um, like I'll use different terms when I'm either going through a depressive state or kind of down on my luck. But headspace just sounds good. Like I'm in a good headspace. So
Hmm.
you can say that word like 1,000 more times. I'll be really happy about that rapid fire.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I think there's an app called Space or
Yeah,
Headspace.
Headspace. There's an app called Headspace. Yes, I've used it before,
Yeah.
and it works. My wife uses Calm. I believe that's the one she uses. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Body.
this one is something that's near and dear to me right now because for almost 40 years of my life, I didn't like the body that I was given.
Hmm.
I just didn't. Either I was too skinny, I was overweight, didn't have muscles, was too like I just didn't like it. And I've been on a quest for the past 18 months to not only accept the body I was given, but
Hmm.
to help people understand that there's so many great things about our bodies, the shapes, the sizes, the color, everything is so great about it.
Hmm.
And I understand there's cosmetic surgery, we can change parts of our body, but for the most part, this is what we got.
Hmm.
And I'm starting to really, and I think this might be the first time I mention it, I'm really starting to love the body that I'm in. And that has nothing to do with me going to the gym. Like I'm really starting to understand that this was a gift.
Hmm.
I'm talking to you, I'm walking, this was a gift. Like, and I have a choice to either love it or hate it.
Hmm.
And I don't want to hate it anymore. Like that's too difficult. I want to just love the body I'm in, and that's what I'm helping others do too.
Hmm. Well, it sounds like like the movie Jerry Maguire that
Mhm.
yeah, I got the money. So I
Yes.
so I think you're gonna say yeah, I love my body.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah, I love it, and it took a long time. Like I like saying it, but I hate saying. I mean, better late than never. But this is now that I know more about the human body and how proteins, amino acids, how carbohydrates affects the brain. Like it's really cool to learn about the body. And it's like when you start thinking about it, you're like, man, this body we have is really, really cool. So I don't
Mhm.
really care that I lost my hair when I was, close to 19 or 20. I don't care that, I don't care about the weird hair I have in weird places on the elbow and Like, that's cool. Like, this is me. This is what makes me Mark, what makes me unique.
Mm. The next word is runner.
Running saved my life. And I will always tell people that. When I first started running, I was 321 pounds.
Mm.
And within 9 months, I had lost 75 pounds. And that, man, I tell you what, I love running, and I love just being free and open, and the weather is getting nice, and just being able to. The great thing about running is you need a pair of shoes. Literally, all you need is, I mean, go running in clothes, please. I understand that, but all you need is shoes and a good pair of shoes, and get your gait checked, and just, man, winter, spring, summer, fall, snow, rain, sunshine, wind, like, it's all different aspects of running, and I I love running. And if you don't love running, look me up. I can help you. I promise you, everyone is a runner inside. We just got to find what makes you tick. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be connecting with you for
Okay,
sure.
let's do it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Um, Episodes.
So, um, I'm the host of two podcasts, relatively normal podcast on mental health and awareness, and the 6 a.m. run podcast on running, fitness, and nutrition. And I think I am close to 130 episodes on relatively normal, and we are around 120 on 6 a.m. run.
Mm.
I think both of them are really good podcasts. If you listen to the first few podcasts of either one of them, they're not the greatest, but I heard some great. Anybody starting a podcast, I heard some great advice. Your first episode is supposed to be terrible. Once I heard that, I was like, I'm free to go. I'm free. I'm doing this. I'm jumping all in.
Yeah. Well, I think I did the same thing, didn't I? So,
I don't know. I'm not putting that on anybody, but I know if you go listen to my first relatively normal, I to me, I sound nervous. I sound anxious. And it's
of course.
funny because it's not live. I could have gone and re-recorded it, but I remember recording it and I was like, this is me. This is what I'm doing. Boom, upload. We'll see what happens.
So the next word. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Silo.
Ooh, silos are bad. Silos are bad. And I mean, whether you work and your team environment are in silos, or whether you're looking to silo your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your any type of financial health. These are all things that need to be interconnected, and they need to be intentional. You need to be intentional about it, and it's really, once you get into the hang of it, those silos, they're really, I'll be honest with you, silos, in my opinion, are hard to put up. Like, they take effort to put up. Like, if you're at work, like, you don't get a silo the first day you work there, or make make your job is created, or your career and your job site and your office is created. But once it takes one person in an office to say, hey, I want to invite you to this meeting. I want to see things through your perspective.
Mm.
Silo crumbles. Same thing happens with your mental health. Once you make that step, you say, you know what? It's a beautiful day outside today. The sunshine will give me energy. And I'm gonna disconnect from work for 15 minutes. And I'm gonna be intentional about this. And I'm gonna put on some good music. I'm just going to walk. I'm not going to track my steps. I'm not going to track how far or how long, anything like that. I'm just going to go outside for a little bit. Like, once you break that silo,
Mm.
it's really hard to go back and build them again. I'm telling you. I'm really telling you.
Mm. World Cup.
Oh man. So I'm a huge soccer fan. And I played soccer in college, like I mentioned. I'm really happy for Messi for winning his World Cup, and I don't know if you're a fan of the sport or if you have a team. And I hope this doesn't upset too many people. I'm a Manchester United fan, and I have been since I was a little kid. I've always loved Premier League and always loved the style of play over there. Um, I will say this: I think the United States is on the right track. I was never to that level where I was going to be in a national team or anything like that, but I knew a few of the guys who played on the national team, and a few of them went to Clemson with me. But I will say this about this rapid fire: like the World Cup was great this year. The World
Yeah.
Cup was amazing. They did a real, or not this year, last year. They did a really good job. I think Qatar did really well with the arenas and with the stadiums.
Right.
So we could talk later about if we want to talk about human
Yeah, we
rights and
can we
stuff like
can
that.
talk.
We can. That's a different show.
That's a
That's a
different
different
show
show.
altogether, but I'll
Totally
say
different show.
but
Yeah.
I just wanna say for the record, Manchester United and Liverpool was the 2 teams that I used to follow when I was
Mhm.
really young,
Oh, yeah.
and those are the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah. I'm not a City fan at all, and anybody who wears a City jersey, give me a break. Come on,
Yeah,
they
we'll
were.
talk about
Give
that
me a break.
offline, but we can talk about this all day long. Thank you. The last one is gonna be time management.
Ooh. So this is something I've always struggled with, and I think it is something that I have progressively gotten better. And I'm gonna tell you right now how I got better is I opened up to people and told them this is my weakness, this is my opportunity.
Mm,
I need help with prioritizing and time management. And I had a great guy I used to work with in the old company, and he's like, "Hey, let's jump on a call. I want to show you what I do with my time management." And it was a really cool app that he used that he broke down his day. And again, I mentioned I like that structure, and I started using it, and different things changed. Like I started getting my work done, have time left over. I started having time to go to the gym. Like time management is something that is very important. And like I said, there shouldn't be any pride. Like I have no pride in me. If I don't know how to do something, I'm going to ask you. If I
mm.
don't know how to make a podcast or how to get recordings or things like that, I'll ask you. Like that's why I have a personal trainer. So I have a therapist. There's no pride. I want to know how to do things correctly. So that I don't know if that answered time management. I went on a tangent there. I apologize, but you said time management, so I hope that I hope that answered your
It does.
question.
Totally, totally. Thank you so much for that, and, the last 2 words and very quickly, Mark,
Work in progress.
and the last one is back to basics.
Never stop saying it. Never stop using this phrase because we all need a reminder. We all need a reminder. Every one of the teams you see that have a bad outing or a bad game, what does the coach say? We're going to go back to basics because they know what the team needs. We need to get back to our true selves.
Mhm.
Slow down, smell the roses, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends.
Yeah, Mark. Thank you again for being a sport on playing the rapid fire round, even though that it was a long story. But the thing is that this is how we tell a story, and through the rapid fire round. And I feel that that's the way to challenge my guest in certain ways when it comes to these words. So thank you again for playing and being a sport on that.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you. I think you kind of tested me a little bit, but I hope I did well.
I hope so too. Thank
We'll
you.
see. We'll see what the people say once they hear it.
But Mark, before you leave today, do you have any last words to all my Back to Basic listeners and my viewers? And how is your journey on Back to Basics too? On top of that,
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of repeat. I know someone has said this before on your show, but I think it's very important that self-care is not selfish, and we should never think that. And I tell people all the time, if you think about what is important in your life, all the things, whether that's your work, your job, your family, whatever it is, there's one common denominator, and it's you. And that segues me into back to basics. I think if we prioritize ourselves and understand that we can only pour out of a cup that has something in it. If it's empty, you got to take the time to refill it, and that will help you get back to basics.
yeah. Thank you, Mark. Thank you again for coming here, and thank you again for being a sport on being on the show, and I really, really enjoyed chatting with you. And we're gonna be friends even offline, I hope. So thank you again for Mark for being here.
No problem. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, guys, today we spoke with Mark, and we really enjoyed our chat today, and we became good friends, I hope. And honestly, there's one thing that I did understand what he's trying to say is that we're supposed to be nourishing and taking care of yourself. Self-care is one thing that we should not be ashamed of. There's one comment also he mentioned is men are not supposed to cry, men are not supposed to have emotions. Remember that? Because if you think about it, we do boggle up everything inside. We're not talking about men, we're talking about everyone in general. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for time management to take care of yourself. And that's what he said, right? As usual, as always, there's a quote of the day from Back to Basics, and hopefully you'll enjoy it, and hopefully Mark will enjoy it. The quote is, sometimes the most important thing you'll need to know is how to be your own best friend. Because technically, that's what self-care is all about. Taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, and yourself. Thank you so much for coming here, guys. And remember, what do we always say at the end of the episode? Everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care, God bless, and I'll see you next time on Back to Basics.
That was great. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. I really did.
Cool. Thank you so much for being a sport, for playing that rapid fire, even though that the rapid fire was really long.
Yeah, it was really. I tried. I apologize, but you threw out some. I'll be honest with you. You threw out some really good words. So, and I'm glad you didn't tell me them beforehand. I really had a lot of fun with that.
Now, guys, thank you again for tuning in to Back to Basics and listening to the excellent episode that we had today with our guest. With your love and support, we do need you to at least rate our show, review our show, because it does make us stronger day by day, week by week, as I usually say on my episodes. And there are 3 things in this episode that it makes a hit for me, which is the content, the guest, and definitely the host. So guys, take care, God bless, and remember, everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care, God bless, and see you next time on Back to Basics.